The New York Yankees look like the best team in the American League East. The NL Central might be the strongest division in baseball, and the San Francisco Giants and Seattle Mariners look like they might not be very good baseball teams in 2026. These are just 3 of the 11 biggest takeaways that I have from the start of the 2026 MLB season. Now, we are less than 3 weeks into the season, so that means that a lot of these takeaways are realistically overreactions. Are the Rockies going to be a 500 team this year because they're 6-6 through their first 12 games? No, but it is fun to look at some of the things that we might have been wrong about heading into the season. So that's what I'm trying to do today. We just hit 30,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for that milestone. I really appreciate it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the takeaways. One of the takeaways that I started with in the intro was the Yankees are the best team in the American League East for now. This version of the AL East has been majorly disappointing for most of the teams in the division. The Rays are playing fine enough in 3rd place, but a 5-7 record is certainly nothing to brag about. The 2nd place Baltimore Orioles have gotten a little hot over the past few days, but they're still just 6-6. And with a -4 run differential, that's just not a good start to the season. They've given up more runs than they've scored. Not good. The Toronto Blue Jays have debatably been the worst team in all of baseball, with a 5-7 record and the 2nd worst run differential in the league at -22 runs. Only the Chicago White Sox have a worse run differential, and the White Sox swept the Blue Jays. The Jays also lost a series to the Colorado Rockies. They are dealing with a lot of injuries, to be fair, but they look downright terrible. The Boston Red Sox also look terrible, although they have won each of their last 2 games and looked much better in those 2 contests. But they're just 4-8 right now, and although they've been in very winnable games, their run differential is still -11, but that is still twice as good as the Toronto Blue Jays. Their pitching staff has looked bad, and their face of the franchise cannot throw a baseball anymore. The Yankees have looked okay. This takeaway is really more about the other teams in the division to start the year being bad, rather than the Yankees being really good, because this last series has shown their weaknesses. They're 8-4, but after losing 2 of 3 to the Athletics and getting no hit for 11 straight innings, it's clear that the offense might not be as good as it was last year. They are 12th in homers as a team, 9th in most strikeouts, which is very bad, 12th in runs scored, and 28th in batting average. Yikes. Aaron Judge, Jazz Chisholm Jr., Cody Bellinger, Ryan McMahon, Trent Grisham all have struggled for the most part throughout the season, and the bullpen hasn't really been great either. Right now, the Yankees are the best team in the division, but this could change very quickly if they don't start hitting. This message is sponsored by Raycon. Now, my family's been Red Sox fans for a long time, and my mom is the one who got me into baseball, so we love going to Fenway together as much as possible. And on the walk to Fenway, there's no better thing to have in your ears other than Raycon. And with Mother's Day coming up, it's a great time to buy the moms in your life a very special gift, a pair of Raycon earbuds. These Raycon earbuds will be useful to your mom no matter what she does, whether she likes to go on walks, clean around the house, just lounge around. No matter what she likes to do, there's a fit for these earbuds. The earbuds I've been using recently are Raycon's Essential Open earbuds. As you can see, they're in my ear right now. I don't only use these when I'm editing videos. I use these when I'm outside on a walk, even though it's still 30 degrees in the middle of April, or hitting baseballs in my batting cage. Raycon has over 3 million happy customers, and honestly, the price is way more affordable because it's not endorsed by a bunch of celebrities like the bigger name brand companies might be. But that doesn't mean that the quality is any less. With everything that I just said, it's no wonder why this would be a great gift for your mother on Mother's Day. But if for some reason she doesn't like these earbuds, there's a 30-day back guarantee. Celebrate the moms in your life. Click the link in the description box below or go to buyraycon.com/pesky Parity Open for 15% off of the Essential Open earbuds. Thanks once again to Raycon for sponsoring. Let's get back into the video. Number 2. The NL Central might be the strongest division in baseball. Now, this might be an overreaction, but the NL Central actually looks really good. Like, this is kind of insane. The NL Central, normally one of the weakest divisions in baseball, it looks really good. The last place team is one of the teams that would have been the favorites to win the division entering the season, the Chicago Cubs. They are 6-6 in last place. And again, I just said that the 6-6 Baltimore Orioles are a second place team in the AL East. This 6-6 team is in last place. The Cardinals have been shockingly good. They're 8th in runs scored, and even the pitching staff has been able to hold its own. Well, not really. They're 26th in the league in ERA, but a lot of that is because of Dustin May and his 15 earned run average. Yikes. Jordan Walker has broken out. He's tied for the league lead in homers, and this team just looks way more fun than I expected it would be. They're 7-5, and they're in 4th place. Also 7-5 are the Pirates, and they have looked really good. Brandon Lau, Ryan O'Hearn, and O'Neal Cruz have been crushing baseballs, and they already called up Connor Griffin, which is awesome to see. They even extended him. The Pirates are actually trying to win games and spending money, and you know what? It's working, because they're 7th in team ERA, and it would be even better if O'Neal Cruz knew how to field on opening day, and they're 12th in runs scored. Being top half in both ERA and runs scored is very good. The Cincinnati Reds have also looked really solid, especially for not having their two best pitchers debatably in Hunter Green, who is undeniably their ace, and Nick Lodolo, who is very good when healthy. This team is actually pretty scary, and Sal Stewart is an absolute maniac. The Brewers are also good, surprise surprise, even with a pretty lackluster roster and Jackson Chourio missing the entire season so far. The Brewers are still 8-4. This division has been very good to start the year. Number 3, the automatic ball strike system, the ABS system, is awesome. I've wanted the ABS system in MLB since it was announced for the minor leagues, and man do I feel vindicated. Seeing 3-2 pitches that were incorrectly called balls and continuing the inning with 2 outs turn into deserved inning-ending strikeouts is just so good to see. The fans in the stadiums enjoy it, they seem to get excited when something good happens, and it has completely added another layer of strategy to a sport that already has so much of it. It's just awesome, and it's been super cool to see how these teams are starting to adapt and figure out the best ways to use the new system. I love it. Number 4. Young talent is at an all-time high in Major League Baseball. Just the rookie class alone, let's just look at it for a minute. It's just insane what it's doing. 4 pitchers, Connolly Early of the Red Sox and Nolan McLean of the Mets, are absolutely disgusting. McLean has some of the most hittable pitches you will ever see. Connor Griffin is a monster, and he's just 19 years old. Jordan Walker has broken out, and finally his savant page is one of the best you'll ever see, with insane speed, good enough fielding, and ridiculous hitting metrics. Chase DeLauder of the Guardians still leads all of MLB in home runs. Actually, he's tied with Jordan Walker and the Rookie of the Year for the National League last year, Drake Baldwin. JJ Weatherholt has been really solid to start his career. Munetaka Murakami, who for some reason no one wanted, has shown crazy power to begin his career. Sal Stewart, I mentioned him earlier. He leads all of baseball with a 1.2 OPS, not just rookies, all of baseball, and that's just insane. Trey Savage hasn't even pitched yet this year, and he was insane in the playoffs last year. Kevin McGonigal has been really good for the Tigers. He's really been the only bright spot on that offense, and Kazuma Okamoto has shown flashes for the Blue Jays. And again, that's basically just rookies. That's not talking about third-year superstars like Paul Skeens or Jackson Merrill, or Bobby Witt Jr., who is still just 25 years old, or even Roman Anthony, who just turned 22 years old. There is just so much young talent in Major League Baseball right now. It's the most talented the league has ever been, and the rookies are coming up faster, and they're better quicker than ever before. And It's just so cool to see young talent take over MLB, and that's what's happening. Number 5, there are really no bad teams right now. Speaking of talent being at an all-time high, there are no bad teams in baseball right now. All of the teams in last place in the divisions are teams that are supposed to be good teams. The Red Sox, Cubs, Giants, Mariners, Tigers, and yes, I guess the Nationals, but these are teams that were supposed to not be bad. They're supposed to be good teams, and the teams that were supposed to be bad just really haven't been bad at all. The Rockies are 6-6 and won a series against the AL defending champs, Toronto Blue Jays, and swept the Houston Astros. The White Sox also swept the Blue Jays, and although the Nationals are just 4-8, they have actually scored the 3rd most runs in baseball. The pitching has just really let them down. The Athletics just won a series against the Yankees. The Marlins are 1st place in the NL Central right now, and the Angels are 6-7, which isn't great, but it's not terrible, and even the Twins have a winning record at 7-6. All of the bad teams going into the season are winning right now, or playing decent baseball at least. Will this continue the whole season? No, almost definitely not. But right now, it's really cool to see that no one is really a pushover. And I didn't even mention the Cardinals, who I did mention earlier, but they're 7-5, and like I said earlier as well, so are the Pirates. Number 6. Yordan Alvarez and Corbin Carroll could win MVP if they stay healthy. I'm not being hyperbolic about this. This might sound crazy, but I think it's true. Yordan Alvarez and Corbin Carroll are generational baseball players. Yordan Alvarez might be the single scariest player in baseball when he's healthy. There is not a guy I would want to face less than Yordan Alvarez with the season on the line in the playoffs. Judge is a better hitter, Ohtani is a better player, but Yordan is horrifying, and he always gets the big base hit. No matter what the situation is, he's clutch. Remember the 2022 World Series? I know Phillies fans do. Right now, Yordan leads MLB in on-base percentage with a 500 OBP. He's gotten on base 50% of the time, and he has as many extra base hits as strikeouts and twice as many walks as strikeouts. He's unreal when he's healthy. With Judge getting off to a slow start, this might be a season where someone else wins MVP, and that could be Yordan Alvarez. Corbin Carroll also has a 1.1 OPS, and he's doing it with an injured hamate bone. He leads MLB in triples again, as he always does, has 2 homers, 2 doubles, is playing really good defense, and is probably the best 5-tool player in baseball outside of Bobby Witt Jr. He's going to be in the running for MVP this year. It'll be very difficult for him to beat Shohei Ohtani, but do not be surprised if Corbin Carroll finds himself top 2 in MVP voting, or even wins the award. Number 7. Tarik Skubal might not be on the Tigers come August. This one is probably going to make people mad at me, but think about it. Skubal wasn't willing to pitch in the finals of a tournament that he badly wanted to be in because of the contract looming, and I'm talking about the WBC, of course. If the Tigers are out of it around the trade deadline, he's not going to really want to pitch with that free agency approaching. He doesn't want to pitch for a team that isn't going to be competing for a World Series ring. Pitchers get injured way too much to risk injuring yourself for a losing team. The Tigers right now are the worst team in baseball record-wise, with a 4-9 record, and they have just not looked like a good team. They're 12th in runs scored and 22nd in team ERA. And those two things aren't the worst things ever, but even Framber Valdez has struggled with a 4.7 ERA, and early season ERAs are not a good indicator of a season at all. They're gonna change very quickly. One good start, that'll drop to like a 3.2. So I'm not saying that Framber Valdez is going to have a 4.5 ERA for the whole season. I'm not saying that at all, but it is something to keep note of. We're about to be 1/10 of the way through the season, and the Tigers look like the worst team in baseball. That's a pretty big deal, especially after they collapsed in the second half last year. This has been about 90 games of them just playing bad baseball now, and I would pay attention to that if I was a Tigers fan. Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, and Kerry Carpenter have also all been really pretty bad to start the season, but again, there's still so much season left. They have plenty of time to turn it around, but if they don't, Skubal could be pitching elsewhere in September. Number 8. It is impossible for the Guardians or the Brewers to be bad. I'm not even kidding about this one. This one's not even a joke. It's true. Am I wrong? It feels impossible for these two baseball teams to be bad at baseball. These are not very good rosters, but it never matters. The Guardians have played insanely tough competition to start the season, and they're 8-5. And they feel like they've been better than that. Gavin Williams has been great, Chase DeLauder looks like a superstar, and it just doesn't matter what they do anyway because they're always good. The Brewers, I mentioned earlier, they're first place in the NL Central. They're 8-4 after having an extremely bad offseason where they traded away their ace Freddie Peralta, as well as Rookie of the Year candidates in Caleb Durbin and Isaac Collins. But you know what? It never matters. They're just still going to win. They were 8-2 before adding a Bryce Terang injury to their already injured roster with Jackson Chourio being out, and when your two best players are injured, it's really hard to win. So I'll say they've been even better than 8-4, and Christian Yelich, he's been insane. They traded for Kyle Harrison from the Red Sox. Of course, he's a starting pitcher, so he's been insane. And Jacob Mizorowski looks like the most unhittable pitcher in baseball. This team is silly, and so are the Guardians. It doesn't matter what they do, they're always good. Number 9, the Phillies are the third best team in the NL East. I'm not too sure if I believe this one, to be honest, but it's something that we have to pay attention to for the rest of this season. The Phillies window, it might have closed. Actually, they don't look very good to start this season. I think it's safe to say that the Mets are a better team at this point, and the Braves for sure are a better team. I predicted the Braves to win this division, and I still very much so agree with that. Even with the pitching injuries of the Atlanta Braves, the Braves still have by far the best pitching ERA in baseball. It's been an incredibly well-pitched start to the season for the Braves, and I think a lot of that is due to the two-headed monster at the back end of their bullpen in Raisel Iglesias and Robert Suarez. But even with that, Chris Sale's just insane. Bryce Elder, I'm pretty sure, still has a 0 ERA somehow, even though he's not very good. And it's just crazy that with all the rotation injuries that the Braves have sustained, they still have the best team ERA. That just speaks to how good this organization is at building depth. The Mets are playing pretty good baseball, and Juan Soto is on the IL, so they'll get even better once Soto comes back, and that's with Lindor playing bad as well. This is a pretty good roster for the Mets. Luis Robert Jr. has been insane to start his career in New York, and the Phillies just look pretty flat. Maybe when Zach Wheeler comes back, they'll look better, but right now, it just hasn't been good. Bryce Harper hasn't looked good. It's just been a weird start, and it's really concerning if you're a Phillies fan. At least it should be. A 6-6 record is not the worst thing of all time, but when you're tied with the Rockies record-wise and you're the Philadelphia Phillies, I don't think that that's a start that you would want to have through 12 games through the season. The Blue Jays, Red Sox, Mariners, Tigers, Giants, and Cubs all look pretty bad to start the season. The Mariners look really bad. They cannot hit. The Tigers can't pitch. The Giants can't do anything correctly, neither can the Red Sox. The Blue Jays just look like a mess, and the Cubs just aren't winning games against teams like the Nationals. These are some of the favorites in the league. I've heard many people say that they think that the Tigers are the favorites in the American League, the Blue Jays are the favorites in the American League, the Mariners were my favorite in the American League, and I think that that was the consensus favorite. The Cubs were one of the favorites in the National League. The Red Sox and Giants were both projected to be really solid teams, not necessarily favorites, but these teams have all looked bad. The Red Sox and Giants have each won each of their last 2 games, so maybe they're starting to get it going again, but the Tigers just got swept by the Twins. I'm pretty sure that the Mariners got swept by the Rangers, who are a pretty good team. The Cubs did win 2 of 3 against Tampa Bay, and the Blue Jays lost a series to the Dodgers, but they're the Dodgers. You can't really discredit them for that. Either way, these teams just don't look good. There are a lot of problems happening, like the Giants have teammates yelling at each other 2 series into the season. The Tigers just have a weird vibe to them, and there's just a lot going wrong with these teams right now. And finally, number 11, cold weather baseball stinks and it should be warmer. I mean, seriously, why is it snowing in Minnesota? Why is it 30 degrees in Boston? Can we just play these cold weather games in California or Florida? Obviously, I'm joking, but why is it still 30 degrees outside in the middle of April? I don't like it. It's too cold. I live in Boston and I can't handle the cold anymore. I've been to Fenway twice, and both times I needed a blanket because I was freezing and I'm a little baby. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one. Subscribe if you haven't. That's it. Enjoy the rest of your day.